Hi there, I'm Dad, the founder of a dining brand. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Today, I want to talk about how individual stores can survive while competing with large brands. If a renowned franchise brand establishes itself in the nearby market, how much will it realistically affect my sales?
Assuming the same industry, it's not just a matter of impact, it's something that should be avoided. The reason is that if there's a Paris Baguette next to a regular bakery or a Baskin Robbins next to an ice cream shop, those are places I haven't been, but I have visited Paris Baguette and Baskin Robbins. I have been there. To decrease the chances of failure, I always say that fundamentally, since we go to big franchises, we should not be located next to them in the same sector.
I've heard that being next to a successful place means you're following the basics. Is that really true?
Correct. However, in the case of being next to a successful establishment, if I take low-cost coffee as an example, those successful places often cannot handle all the coffee demand from just one shop. They can't handle it. For example, in areas with a high concentration of offices, it gets very busy during lunch hours. But because those customers cannot be handled by one shop, coffee chains like McDonald's or Compote are located nearby. The issue is that personal cafes struggle to compete with them. Independent cafes tend to lose their competitive advantage. However, if you locate next to a successful establishment, there are typically restaurants or dining places nearby, and that usually works out well. Since some people enjoy coffee after their meals, I think it's good to decide on new items that would be advantageous for me to introduce here. I don't suggest placing a business next to a large franchise in the same sector.
While I don't recommend it, are there successful cases of doing better next to famous franchises?
Franchises offer numerous benefits and look impressive, yet there are clear points that big franchises do not possess. Some independent stores that address those needs are doing quite well. Baskin Robbins features bright and attractive ice cream that is often used as gifts. However, I don't think their ice cream is that delicious or particularly healthy. Sometimes it lacks a personal touch. So there are successful cases of ice cream shops that sell gelato and pure milk ice cream while greeting all customers kindly. Previously, when I ran an academy, there was a yogurt shop owner whose charm and friendliness stood out. By recalling each customer and showcasing their use of quality ingredients for yogurt, they significantly outperformed Baskin Robbins and other yogurt stores nearby. There were instances where they achieved much higher sales.
If our menu overlaps with a well-known brand, should we reduce our prices, remove it entirely, or create a differentiation?
I think we should either eliminate it or create differentiation. Lowering prices is essentially saying we are inferior to them. Even if it's not the case, if Baskin Robbins charges 10,000 won and we offer organic ice cream for 9,000 won, people won't go for it. Ultimately, when assessing what is more valuable, price does not play a significant role. If we plan to discount, we should sell at 50% less than Baskin Robbins, but that's not realistically feasible. In the case of Baskin Robbins, the cost ratio has skyrocketed to nearly 50% lately, so I think it's unreasonable to offer prices lower than that, and instead, they are unable to do so. I believe that figuring out what the competition is doing and adding that to our offerings is key to competitiveness, and if not, it might be more realistic to change the menu entirely and go a different route.
What minor details can we exploit that large enterprises fail to address?
There will be reviews about large franchises, right? By recognizing the recurring negative feedback, we can grasp what discomforts people experience when visiting these locations. So, the most practical method is to take that information and see how we can enhance it into advantages, and if we look further, we can discover. If you look around, there are always one or two successful stores next to large franchises. Thus, identifying those businesses and learning what they do right might be a good strategy.
Conversely, are there brand strategies that individual stores should absolutely avoid copying?
Discounting prices should absolutely be avoided, and large stores often run many promotions, right? They collaborate with telecom companies for discounts, distribute movie gift cards, and even have giveaways for cars, right? However, local individual stores tend to try to follow those strategies subtly. But even if they try to imitate, the quality won't be comparable, and large franchises have contracts with corporations to do it at low costs, while individual stores have to spend real cash. Therefore, even if they excel, the quality will inevitably be lower than that of large franchises. So I believe they should avoid that and instead focus on the finer details. I think it would be better to pay more attention to the little things.
For instance, providing small cookies could serve as a nice touch in service.
Yes, that could be a possibility. and simply recalling customers as they exit and offering them an extra item they like is something franchises cannot match. For individual brands, establishing connections with local residents is the most practical strategy.
Is it feasible to compete with brands on equal terms?
It might be possible, but here's the situation. I added a bakery next to Paris Baguette, and it's clear to anyone that this place is superior in taste. From an objective standpoint, if you mix the breads and eat them, and it doesn't feel different from this bakery's bread, then I think that's not the right answer. The reason is that taste is very subjective, and people often think what they make is the best. That bakery uses frozen dough, but we use real flour, butter, and eggs. However, when you make it and put it on display, you can't really see the difference. So, if everyone feels the same way, not just my opinion, I believe I can compete based on taste. But if the difference is minimal, I think I can't compete.
Is there a minimum branding element that a personal shop needs to prepare to stay afloat?
I often mention this, but it's important to objectively understand what you excel at. Usually, when I go for consultations, people are very proud of their cooking skills, but when I actually taste it, it's not that great. They think they are friendly, but they are not at all. And they think they have a good sense, but they really don't. There are many cases like this. Therefore, I believe it's crucial to understand what I excel at by hearing from those around me, as everyone has their own unique traits. First, I think it's important to identify those unique characteristics and then consider how to incorporate them into the store.
It's tough to steer clear of franchises, isn't it? Do you have any final advice for the owners feeling stressed about this?
Franchises will continue to emerge. They will continue to arise, and the business owners watching this video might also think they want to do well and become a franchise. However, as franchises grow larger, the advantages they originally had often get diluted, and maintaining uniformity can hinder individuality. They struggle with unique actions. Thus, it's essential to recognize what those franchise stores lack and incorporate it into your own business. So when the franchise does this, I do it too. And when the franchise does that, I do that too. I think that only first and third place are possible. Therefore, I suggest you not to just imitate franchises, but to first look for what those franchises are missing. Sure, we discussed franchises today, but moving forward, I believe that stores with their own character will continue to do better. Therefore, I encourage you to prepare well, recognize your strengths, and I wish you prosperity in 2026 and success in your ventures. Thank you.